Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zobrio University's webinar on FE year-end preparation. Today we have Nora Alamari, an application consultant here at Zobrio, to lead the webinar. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat, which is located at the bottom of your screen, and we will go over all questions at the end. Thank you, and I'll now hand it back over to Nora.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nora Alamari. I am a financial ed and firmware consultant here at Zobrio. I'm sure I have worked with a lot of you in the past. Today we are doing a webinar on the year-end prep work for when it comes to payroll. We're not going to talk about general ledger or accounts payable, just payroll, the year-end stuff. This includes payroll for the new year and the W-2s and a couple of other things we want to mention. So my email is on the screen. If you don't have it, write it down. If you have any questions or if you just need if you have any concerns or any questions at any time, just feel free to email me. Let's go ahead and get started. You can also, I just want to mention that you can use the chat function to send questions. We can go over those at the end of the webinar. So for the year-end checklist, we are going to go over the payroll preparations that you need to do for the new year, what you need to do to start processing for 2020. We are going to talk about data cleanup, all kinds of data cleanup that you need to review and look at for payroll purposes for 2020 and for the W-2s and the ACAs, of course. We're going to talk about some reports that we recommend that you run and look at to use to make sure that everything is okay, that everything is in balance, everything is posted, all the numbers look right. And we're also going to talk about the update that is about to be released by Blackbaud at the end of the webinar. First thing first, preparing payroll for next year. You have about a couple of weeks to prepare. In case you haven't already, you need to create pay schedules. And those are, you're just not going to be able to do anything if you don't have those. You need to prepare all your tax information, all your SUDA information, pension information, any kind of value that needs to be updated for the new year, any kind of change. We will need to update employee information. You will need to assign the pay types, deductions, and benefits if they expire. If there are any changes, those need to be taken into consideration. You will need to make sure that all the employees have correct information, correct bank information, correct tax withholding information, the GL distributions, the departments, everything. This is a good time. It's slow after the last payroll of the year, and it's going to be super busy in January, so this is a really good time to start looking at all of this stuff to make sure that the data is clean. You're going to be ready to produce the W-2s, and the first payroll is not going to be, have any problems. The other thing that you want to look at is all the special pays, the raises, the bonuses, the health insurance changes, all kinds of insurance changes, not just health, but all of those need to be processed and checked. So this is it. This is the time for all of this to happen. We are going to talk about the reports that you are going to be looking at. We're going to list them in just a couple of slides ahead of this. So just use reports, use queries to look at things. If you need help with those, let me know. You should have my number and my email, so any question, just email me. Don't hesitate. This is a really good time for you to look at all of this stuff in order to make sure that your payroll, your first payroll in January is going to be correct and fast and without problems. So to talk about the data cleanup, there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. There is your information, your organization information, the name, the address, the tax ID, all of that needs to be accurate and just like it shows in the official documents, with the IRS. I have a screenshot for you. You might want to check that to make sure that the information you have in the system is correct. It's really simple. You might not be able to get to that screen, but maybe someone else in the organization can. But definitely this is a screen that needs to be checked. And I encourage you to verify the information in it. And if you make any changes, you don't need to click on save or anything. As you can see, there's no save. Just move to another screen and come back to check and make sure that the information or the changes you made did actually save and or apply to the company information. Next, data cleanup is going to be for the employee information. We have gone over this with a couple of subjects, but one more time, the employee name on your record in Financial Edge needs to match what the IRS and the SSA have on their records. It needs to match 100%. This means that it should match the name printed on the person's Social Security card, 100%. Every dot and every comma and everything, it needs to exactly match. Now, you want to keep in mind that the IRS may impose a penalty for each form with a missing or incorrect Social Security number or employee name. This information is from the IRS's website. So maybe this is a good time to look at, letting employee check their information, the employees check their information or submit a W-4, and that's yet a whole other new topic. But this is a very good time to check this. It's actually a must. It should be number one on your list. This is very important. Please keep in mind that it's good to have that for payroll, for W-2s, for ACAs. Any correction could result in a penalty from the IRS, and filing a correction because of a name, it is going to cost you with Atrix. When you file the form and it's wrong, you're going to have to file a correction, and Atrix charges a minimum of $14.95 for a correction. So this is really a good time. It's a must, and you have the time to do it. It's probably a slow time of the year, so this is really the best time to do this. The other piece of information that I recommend you look into with this, with the January busy season coming up, and this being a slow time between the holidays and everything, is the ACA information. If you are planning on reporting the ACA information with the IRS, this is a good time to start. You want to review all the information you have, all the documents you have, gather the information, make sure that you know who's covered and who's not. If they're not covered, why aren't they covered? The list of dependents. You want to make sure that you have the documentation. You want to make sure that, especially if they waived coverage, you want to make sure that you have documentation to support the situation where an offer was made, but the employee waived the coverage. You want documentation to show when the insurance was offered to the employee and their families. All of that. This is the time to look into all of this. So again, the ACA information does include making sure that the name is 100% matching with their Social Security card. So it is used if you are on Financial Edge. It is used from the employee record. So it's just one place, and it will clean up a whole bunch of forms and a whole bunch of things. I do want to mention, since we are talking about the ACA, that the deadline to provide the forms to the employees by the employer, that was extended. It is now March 4th. Oh, I'm sorry, March 2nd is March 2nd is when it's due. But the filing with the IRS dates have not changed. So if you are planning to e-file, it is April 2nd. So, and if you were going to paper file, that is February 28th for both, to provide it to provide the employees with the form and to mail it. So plan accordingly. This is a good time to make sure that you have all the information you need. If you have any questions, let me know. We can definitely start working on this, on the ACA project, as soon as you have the information ready, so just let me know. The next item on my checklist is the reports. So the reports that are recommended for you to check things at the end of the year and all the time, actually. One thing is the employee profile report. This will show the name, the Social Security, the address, all kinds of information. And the recommendation is to print this report with the option to have separate pages for each employee. That way you can hand it out to the employee and have them review it and check it and let you know if there are any corrections that need to be made. This is a very helpful tool if you plan to just check it yourself against maybe copies of the ID or Social Security card that you have gathered from, from HR or when on hiring, then maybe not separate pages, just one piece altogether, but definitely review this report and see if this is a tool that you can use. If you need any help with it, let me know. The other reports that we recommend you look at are for payroll purposes, and the W-2s and the 941s and all of that. So this is going to be the adjusted gross wage report, the payroll register report, and the deduction profile report. So all these are reports that are in Financial Edge. They're not custom or anything, but you can tweak it to your preferences, and definitely they are very important for you to know what the numbers are going to be like, what the 941s were like, if you need to make any changes. So with the 941s, and I kept mentioning those, after the last payroll of the year, you might want to start checking those. We have all kinds of tools that we can help you with. We have a spreadsheet that we can share with you that you can use to make sure that everything is in balance, everything is correct. We can work with you on reviewing all these. This is a very good time. The longer you wait checking the 941, the more difficult the process is, and this is the time. The numbers here are going to be the totals for the 941s are what we use to make sure that all the W-2s are correct, the totals for them. So this is a very good time to start looking at the 941s. Last thing I want to talk about is the updates, the software updates, service patch, the number 33 that is going to be released by Blackbaud the last week of December. It is going to include the 2020 tax tables, and it is going to include then the changes for the new W-4 form. If you need more information about any of this, let me know. The states included in this patch 33 are few, but let me know if you have any questions. It is going to include Illinois, Utah, Virginia, New Jersey, Montana, Iowa, Idaho, and of course with the federal withholding, the FICA, and the railroad tax. So this is what we are all waiting for, and it should be, we're waiting for it any day. They can release it, but you know, what they say is the last week of December. This will need to be installed, and your tax tables need to be updated. It is not enough to just install it. Just keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And then the other update is the ATRIX update. Just make sure that if you are going to be working on the W-2s, the 1099s, the ACA forms, and even the 941s, that you have the permissions on your workstation to install updates. Because when you open ATRIX, it's going to prompt you to accept the updates. So what I recommend is that you open ATRIX right now to update with whatever is available right now. That way the update that we do in January doesn't take that long. So get caught up for until today. That would be nice, so we don't wait for hundreds of updates in January when we are ready to work on the W-2s. And that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. It is a lot of information. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, let me know. We can definitely work with you on the reports, on the installations, on the forms. You might want to contact Matthew Kreutzer, our salesperson, if you haven't already, to inquire about the year-end work that is about to start in a couple of weeks, less than 2 weeks. So, and don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. We post a lot of updates, a lot of information that you might find useful. And again, feel free to email me or call me with any questions. And it does not look like, let me see here. I do have a question that I wanted to answer. Are the updates automatic? The update for Financial Edge patch 33 is not. You have to download and install the patch, and then you have to follow instructions to update the tax tables. So again, to install the patch does not mean that your tax tables are going to be updated. There's still a couple of clicks here and there that need to be done. As far as ATRIX updates, those are automatic. Once you open ATRIX, you will get prompted. And this time of year and throughout January and maybe until April. Every time you open it, you will be prompted for updates. If you don't get prompted for updates, then start questioning what time of year this is. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Matthew's contact information is on the screen, and I hope you found this useful.
Alrighty, thank you everyone. A recording of this webinar will be made available shortly.
Thank you.